welcome to workout number 2. In today's workout, we're going to be doing some stuff for our back exercises. So we're going to need a band. You don't need the one with handles today. If you have one of those TheraBands that are just like the wide straps, that will work fine. This is one of the ones that you do hook the handle on, which is why it has the metal clips at the end, but we're actually not going to need them today. So you just want to make sure you have a band. All right. Okay, so we are going to be doing some pull-aparts with the band, some rows with the band. Then we're going to be doing squats, bridges, and planks. And that is going to be the circuit today. And we're going to start with our squats. And if you've seen that video on squatting where I go over how squat is a 3-joint movement, you might remember that it involves the ankles. And one of the biggest limiting factors when it comes to the squat is poor ankle mobility. So before we go into our squat, we're going to do some calf stretches. Hopefully the camera can stay focused. So we're going to have one leg back. We're going to make sure our heel on the back leg, that our foot is perfectly straight. Most people will want to turn out. Make sure that your leg is straight. And then you're going to lean in, and you should feel a nice stretch down here in your calf. And you're going to keep your abs tight so that you're not just bending at the back, that you're actually pushing your heel down and leaning forward at the same time. So you feel a stretch in your calf. And we're going to hold that for a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to do some really gentle knee bends. So you're going to feel this stretch in the front of your shin. This is 3. Just to kind of loosen our ankles. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got 2 more. 9, 10. Good. And then we're going to switch legs. Same thing. You're going to make sure your foot is straight. You're going to push your heel down like you're trying to really straighten your leg. And you're going to lean forward. Keep your abs in. Really get a nice stretch in the belly of your calf, so right back here. We're going to hold it for 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to do 10 of those little knee bends where we're going to push our heel down and then try and bend a little bit so that you stretch in the front between your ankle and your knee. So you're stretching your shin muscles and you're actually working on ankle flexion. We're going to do 3 more. So 3, 2, 1. Good. And then we're just going to do some hamstring stretches really quick. So you're going to be on a chair. This is a great one to do at work. If you sit all day, you just bring your foot out. You're really going to focus on your toe coming up. You're going to bring your hands out and forward, and you're just going to reach forward. So you're not going to round at the back. We're not rounding. You're going to sit really tall, like there's like you've got a broomstick or something connected from the back of your head to the base of your spine, and you're going to sit forward from your hip. And you should feel a big stretch that runs right full length of your leg. And so we're going to be here. You're going to hold it for a second. And then we're going to come back, and we're going to do 2 more. You don't have to hold your hands here. I just do that to remind you to keep your chest up. Make sure you're moving, you're pivoting from your hips, and that you're not rounding. Your hamstring muscles, the muscles on the back of your leg, are more rigid than your back muscles. So your back muscles, your body's chi, your back muscles will always stretch easier. So when people stretch their hamstring, they always round in the back. And those back muscles stretch almost 100 times easier than the muscles at the back of your leg. So it's really important that you don't round your spine and that you keep your toe pointed up when you are stretching the muscles in the back of your leg. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Do about 3 more. You could do 10 of these.
If you're doing them at work, you could also just sit and hold for a count of 30. You actually have to hold a stretch anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes if you're over 40 to actually increase flexibility and range of motion in tissue. Okay, so then we're going to start with our squats. We are going to do 15 squats. We're going to kind of go nice, not too fast, kind of a 2 seconds down, 2 seconds up pace. I'm going to start out and do half of them sitting, touching the chair, and then the other half stopping just above the chair. Again, you want to bring your arms up, you can. I always find it helps make the form a little bit easier. So we're going to squat to the chair, come up. Our toes, feet or toes are turned out just a little bit to allow everything to move. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 10. And then the last 5 I'm going to do without touching the chair. If you want to keep touching the chair, that's fine. So it's the same idea. You're going to go 5, 4, 3. So I'm still touching it so I know how low I'm going. I'm just not putting my weight in the chair. All right, so that's 15. And then we are going to go to our band pull-aparts. Almost forgot the plank. We don't want to forget the plank. So we're going to do our band pull-aparts. If you have the kind with the handle, you might want to wrap it around your wrist. This is a light band. It's a 10-pound band. So you don't want one that is too rigid for this exercise. You are going to hold it in your hands. You're going to really, we're focusing on range of motion in our shoulder blades. So I'm going to show you from the back first. And we're going to bring our arms all the way together. So our shoulder blades are pulled apart. This is the edge of my shoulder blade right here. And so it's pulled out to the side. And our band pull apart, we're going to bring our arm back and we're going to tuck our shoulder blade right in. So you can think of it as opening and closing the door. We're going to open the door, shoulder blade moves over, we're going to close it. It comes flat against your back. So with both of them, you're here, hands are right together, stomach's drawn in, you're going to pull apart. Pinch your shoulder blades together, come back together in the front, pull your hands apart, pinch your shoulder blades together. Hands come together in the front, shoulder blades are apart. You're going to pull your hands wide, shoulder blades come together. So how that looks from the front is we're here, hands come together, pull apart, hands come together, pull apart. Whenever you do anything with your arm, your shoulder blade has to move. So it's really important that you key in to what your shoulder blade is doing. If you're moving your arm, pulling, weeding, carrying kids, grabbing stuff off the shelf, and your shoulder blade is not moving, then you're doing everything from your joint and you will end up with a shoulder injury. Your shoulder blade sits in your back and it stretches up, it stretches out. If this is your back and your shoulder blade sits here and you lift your arm, it comes up like this. If you reach forward, it comes out to the side. If you pull your arm back, it pulls in. So it supports the joint. So it's really, really important that your shoulder blades can move. When you're running, you see a lot of runners just run from their shoulders, never incorporating their postural muscles and their shoulder blade. Like when you are running and your arms are moving, your shoulder blade should be coming with you, which is why posture muscles are the first ones to fail. All right, so with these pull aparts, we're going to do 10 reps of these. So we're here, hands come together, we're going to pull all the way back. You're going to come together, pull all the way back. Resist the temptation to stop here because that's where the tension is, and pull back. Make sure you move through the whole range of motion so that the shoulder blades maintain their mobility and always move through the whole range of motion. It's critical to maintaining healthy shoulders. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a great exercise. I do it with in all of my warm-ups for sure. Okay, and so this one is actually going to be a row, and you're going to use your feet. So if you have shoes on, it's a little bit more secure than if you're in just socks. And if you have a really heavy band with a lot of resistance, you might want to use shoes just because you're going to pull against your feet and you don't want the band digging into your feet. But what we're going to do is you're going to put the band down around the arch, middle of your foot, the arch area. You're going to keep your feet upright. Don't let them come too far back because you don't want the band to slip off your feet. It'd be really hard to flex your feet too far back. But you also don't want to point them forward because the band will slip down under your heels. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're safe. All right, so the band's around our feet. You're going to reach forward as far as you can comfortably, and you're going to grab the actual band itself. So the ends will be here, and you are going to pull elbows straight back. So shoulder blades slide forward in this position, and then you're pinching shoulder blades together. And you'll see when you watch the video, my chest looks like it's moving forward because my rib cage is moving forward so that my shoulder blades can slide over my ribs and pinch together. Does that make sense? So we're working our postural muscles right now. This is 6. We're going to go to 15 on these because they're so important, and it's important they have good endurance. Don't pull out to the side. We're keeping our elbows tucked. Don't do any weird things with your wrists. You're just pinching shoulder blades together. Everything else stays still. Now I lost count. So we're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. So those are our 2 back exercises. Next up, we're going to go into our bridge. We're going to stay with our 2-foot bridge to start. So 2 feet are down. They're not super tight. Again, you're curling up from the back of your legs. Abs are drawn in. I'm going to put my hands here. You're going to lift right up. Squeeze your glutes together. Don't let your knees flare out. So we don't want to see that. Don't let them touch in. You're keeping your legs in perfect alignment from your hip bone to your knee to your ankle. Everything's a straight line. We're working on tightening our glutes and hamstrings to push through these tight quads and hip flexors and get into a nice bridge position. If you were to lay a board here, it should almost be straight. We're going to drop back down and lift back up. Again, if your feet slide away from you or you feel yourself pushing backwards, then you're using your quads and your back and you're not using hamstring and glutes. So you really want to focus here. I always tell people to put your hands here to help your brain learn where those muscles are. Most people do develop glute amnesia, so the brain disconnects from those muscles and loses track of where they are and what they're doing. So you have to reconnect it. We are going to do, so we're aiming for 15 of these. We're going to do 3 more. And I can feel my glutes. Can you feel yours? 2. And last one. Good. And then we are coming over for a plank. We are staying with our 30-second plank this round. If you want to make it harder, you are going to be in your plank. Again, you're thinking about drawing your abs together. Your head should be able to move. Shoulder blades should be able to move. And we're holding for 30. If you need to take a break, drop your knees down, rest a second, come back up. Better to stop and reset than do it wrong. Okay. If you want to make it harder and you can lock your hips in place, tighten your quads, you can do mini toe taps out to the side. Make sure you don't brace from your back. Keep it in your abs. Don't let your hips rotate. We are going to be here for another count of 15. 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then I'm going to have you do some cat-cows because it's always important to move your spine after you hold your spine still. So if you do yoga, you may know this stretch. It's a great stretch for spinal mobility. You are going to draw your abs in, arch your back as high as you can, tuck your chin to your chest, and then you are going to drop down and look up. And you should feel a big stretch through your abs, and then you're going to come back up. And then drop down. And you're basically, what's great about this is you are opening and closing every joint along your spine, ideally, unless you have a section that has fused, which is really important. So spinal mobility is really important. You have little muscles that support each vertebrae, and you want to keep them strong and healthy. So we're going to do one more. Good. And that is today's circuit. So we've got squats, then we've got the band pull aparts, the rows where you hold the bands, followed by the bridges and the plank. So we're going to go through that one more time. I am going to grab a weight for my squats. I'm going to grab a 15-pounder. So if you have a weight at home, you can hold it. If you have a little one at home, you can hold them. And okay, so I did put my towel here to put my heels up, but my ankles were loose enough after stretching that I was okay. Again, I'm going to use the chair for distance to make sure I go down the same distance with every squat, and I'm going to think about lifting my chest. So we're here, we're going to do 15 of them. Ready? And go. The top part of your squat is just like the bridge. You're pushing your hips through those tight quads. So we're hinging back, pushing through. Squat works more abdominal muscles than any other exercise, so long as you're keeping them engaged and using them to stretch up. If you're bending over every time and not engaging your abs, you're missing a lot of this movement. If you'd like me to give you feedback on your squat, just send me a video. And last one. Good. So there's our 15 squats. Then we are going to go to our band pull aparts. That's what I call them too. So if you see me, hear me reference them, I call them pull aparts. All right, so we're here. Got my band because I have hooks wrapped around my hand. If you don't have hooks, you might want to wrap it around your hand. You can go until you get the tension that you want. Too many times this band's not flexible enough. Okay, so we are going to do 10 of these. Hands come out front, all the way back. Again, this is for scapula mobility. That's your shoulder blade. Making sure that it's not stuck. It's a big part of what leads to frozen shoulder as we age. Range of motion is super important. See a lot of people doing exercises and stopping short, and then they end up wondering why they get a frozen shoulder or torn rotator cuffs as they age. Not good. I'm pretty sure this is 10. Might be a little bit over. Okay, there's our pull aparts, and we're here. We're going to be on the ground for our rows. Band goes around your feet. Our feet are nice and straight. You might get a nice stretch in your hamstring as well. If you want to do this and hook it around a pole, like I could hook it around here, or if you have the thing that allows you to shut it at the door, like some of them have the straps and you put the band through the strap and then you shut it in the door and you do your rows, you can do it that way too. All right, so we are going to do our rows. We're going to do 15 of these. Nice and controlled. This is 3. Really pulling our elbows back, not doing anything wonky with our wrists. It's just our shoulder blade. Shoulder blade pinches together, comes out to the side. Shoulder blade pinches together, they come apart. Pinches together, apart. We got 5 left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. All right, there's your rows. Next up is our bridges. My favorite. Always my favorite exercise. So important for the core, so important for opening the hip flexors. Just an overall important health movement. All right, so we're here. My feet are not too tight. My knees have some room. They're not pinched right in. My abs are drawn in. And I'm going to curl, lift from my glutes and hamstrings, not let my legs come up, not roll out on my feet either. And I should not feel myself pushing backwards. If you want to make this harder, this is 7, we're doing 15 of these. You can take a leg and bring it to the ceiling and you will feel it's a lot more work on that leg. If you want to stay with 2 feet like I am, you are welcome to do that. Always make sure your hips stay level the best that you can. One more. And good. There's your 15 bridges. We're going to go 30-second plank roughly. I don't have my clock in front of me, so anyways, we're here up on my toes. My back is loose. My head and neck is loose. My abs are drawn in. I'm thinking about pulling my pubic bone towards the bottom of my rib cage. And you could also think about pulling your elbows and toes closer together. Don't actually move them, just think about it, and you'll feel your abs engage quite a bit more. We're going to go 10 more seconds. Again, if you want to make it harder, you can add the toe taps. You're welcome to do that. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then our cat-cows. So we're here, hands and knees. We are going to draw our abs in, tuck our chin to our chest. Really arch your spine. If you've ever seen a cat kiss and they arch up inside and they hop sideways, that's the image you're trying to create here. That's the cat part. And then I call this the cow part because if you've seen a lot of cows, a lot of them are sway back. So you're stretching your abs, arching down, looking up, creating mobility in your vertebrae all the way from your tailbone to the base of your neck, really. The thoracic part, which is the part through your shoulder blades, is often locked on people. So while it may feel like you're stretching a lot, you should have somebody video you so you can see how much your back arches. The number of clients I have worked with who have almost no mobility in their spine is astronomical. And if your spine can't move, more than likely the rest of your tissues are locked up too. All right, one more. That's a good one. That stretch right there has actually been linked to helping people beat depression. There's been studies done to show that it can actually help improve your mood if you're having a bad day. So it is the home of your nervous system, so take good care of it. All right, if you want to go through that a couple more times, go for it. Again, it's the squat, the band pull apart, the band row, the bridge, and the plank, followed by the cat-cow stretches. All right, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.